We are going live. What is up, kids? Can you see our stream? Drew, Doc, anybody?
It's a little to the right, but we're shooting straight.
Hey, Reggie. Can you guys see us okay? Somebody say yes so we can make sure that we're right here.
Oh, I will. I will, Teddy. I gotta pause this back here, which I think I just did.
Okay, they can see us now. Alrighty. So without any further ado, we are going to do this.
Thank God.
We
were getting a little scared there at the last minute, guys. We're having some technicality difficulties.
We'll interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
We were getting a little scared there at the last minute, guys.
All righty, boys and girls, how are we doing tonight?
They're red.
You what now?
Oh, Ted in there cracking me up.
Oh,
What do we got this week, Rhino?
What's that?
What do we got this week?
Well, we got all kinds of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 51 of Vikings Uncensored. And also for those of you who partake, happy St. Patrick's Day. Being the good Irishman the good Irishman that I am, I've got my Guinness.
I just got some orange juice.
Yeah, that works too, but you got to have the Guinness if you're on St. Patrick's Day and it's Irish. So, and that ends my bad Irish accent.
That was great. I thought I was talking to Sean Connery for a second there.
Oh, yes. We'll take S words for 1,000, Alex.
I was going to say something.
All right.
It's not appropriate.
No, that's good.
That's good. All right, guys.
We got a ton of stuff going on here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I guess the biggest, thing is of course, as we all know, the league year has begun and the Vikings are signing everybody that they can find. It's amazing how many
everybody that nobody wants,
how many players that we have brought in so far for the in the new league year. But anyway, we'll get started with, of course, the initial news that kicked things off earlier in the When did Lance start filtering himself? He's not fired up yet, Ted. Just hold on. But anyway, what started off the whole deal of events was, of course, as we all know, QB8 Kirk Cousins signed a 1-year extension, $35 million guaranteed.
What? I did not hear about this. When did this happen?
It just kind of swept under the rug. Nobody ever really talked about that too much, but anyway, he will be paid out $40 million in 2022. A bunch of it is signing bonus. 55 million paid out in 2023, which means that Kirk Cousins will be our quarterback for the next 2 years. On top of that, there was a no trade clause added, but it did drop his cap hit for this year from 45 million down to 31 million.
Right.
Which got us close to the salary cap. And then there were 2 void years added on in 2024, 2025, where that signing bonus will get spread out. I think the dead cap in 2024 is 12.5 million, and then 6.25 million in 2025. So
what is his base salary then for next season? I hate to jump ahead of the season, but
I believe it's
55.
He'll get 55, but I think his cap hit is like 35 next year.
Okay.
So it's workable. Wasn't probably the outcome that a lot of us were looking at, but
Sneaky with that no trade clause. I don't know so much sneaky that the whole no trade clause has Kirk Cousins written all over it, honestly.
Yeah. And honestly, even with this current deal he was on, even though there wasn't a no trade clause, there was a no trade clause because nobody was going to pay the amount of money that Kirk was due this year for a 1-year rental, unless it was somebody that was, thought he was going to be the missing piece to put their team over the top, which apparently didn't happen. So, but I guess, you can look at it this way. We were out, a bunch of us have been talking about if we moved on from Kirk, we'd be looking at a 1 to 2 year bridge quarterback. Now Kirk is that bridge quarterback realistically.
Right. That's a good way to look at it though, too, honestly.
Yeah, and honestly, by the time 2023 is up, that's going to be about the time that's going to coincide with us having to give Justin Jefferson a new deal. So it frees up some money there.
It works out.
Yeah. So I guess
I'm not going to lie. I wanted to get rid of the guy. I did. I'm not going to lie.
I was ready to move on as well. I mean, we've made that abundantly clear in previous shows, but
we don't hate Kirk. We try to tell people all the time. People just assume that since we don't worship Kirk Cousins that we just hate Kirk Cousins. It's not the case. We don't hate Kirk Cousins. We want him to succeed. I would love Kirk Cousins to take it and just shove it down my throat. But
easy now.
We'll
Easy.
See. Yeah, I know. But I would love him to prove me wrong, honestly.
Yeah.
And
Kirk is a good quarterback. He's not garbage. He doesn't have those intangibles, I think, that are necessary to get him to that next level. Now, if he proves us wrong, I will gladly admit that I was wrong, but.
Well, in a way, you have to look at Zim. He was his last coach, who absolutely hated Kirk, by the way. We all know that now.
Zimmer hated everybody except like 5 players. So
Right. Before that, he had the great Jay Gruden coaching him there in Washington.
But he did have Shanahan before that, though. So
he did back in his earlier years. Let's see what O'Connell could do with these keys. Okay, O'Connell. Let's see what O'Connell could do with these keys now that he has and dust off that old Ford truck, get her up and running again, nice and smooth like.
There you go. But anyway, we don't want to make the whole show about Kirk, so we'll move on. The next move that was made was the Vikings tendered restricted free agent kicker Greg Joseph. So looks like he'll probably be back unless somebody out there decides that he.
I liked what I seen out of Joseph, honestly, last year.
as far as Viking kickers go, yeah, he was. I mean,
Yeah.
he was acceptable. Reggie Zimmer doesn't even like his own son. I'm not sure that's the case, Reggie, because he made him defensive coordinator with no experience or qualifications to be so. So, other than having Zimmer blood in his veins.
Right. That's yeah.
Then we'll move on, I guess, to the first of the notable free agent signings. The Vikings signed former Buffalo Bills defensive tackle Harrison Phillips, also affectionately known as Horrible Harry, which is a great goddamn nickname for being a Viking.
It is. I love it.
So now we have Horrible Harry and we have Harry the Hitman. So
right.
But Phillips signed a 3-year, $19.5 million deal. Real high character guy. He was Buffalo's Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee last year. He's got a foundation and a charity that he's been running out of Buffalo. I forget what the name of it is right off the top of my head, but started watching part of his introductory press conference they had this afternoon. I didn't get a chance to watch it all, but I love what the guy said. You know, he seems like a real high character guy, like the good attitude, everything else like that. And he battled some injuries in Buffalo, but when he did play, he played pretty well.
Right.
So
he's more of a run stuffer though, right?
Yeah, he's I guess more known for his run defense than he is
like a nose
pass defense. But yeah, I mean, he'll either play nose or he'll play that what they call it, the 5 tech
between the guard and the tackle. Yeah,
right. The
5 technique.
I mean, he's not as big as Michael Pierce. He's only like 310 pounds, I think, where Pierce was 340, 350.
Right.
Yeah.
Bills Mafia.
But and that's another good sign on this guy. The Bills Mafia on their social media and everything else were very upset that they lost this guy. So, that says something too, I think. But since we were on the Michael Pierce topic, he ended up getting released on, was it Tuesday or Wednesday, whatever it was.
Kind of a surprise, but not really. I thought I was hoping that we would be able to fetch something for him.
I mean, we talked about the likelihood that he probably wasn't going to be back, a couple shows ago. I guess the Vikings did want to keep him. They offered him a restructured contract, but he declined and said that he didn't think he would want to play basically in Donatel's scheme. So they shopped him around a little bit and couldn't really find any takers. So they ended up releasing him. Wow. And I saw just before we came on the air here that he has actually re-signed with the Baltimore Ravens, and he's going back to where he, started out his career. So as our buddy Drew would say, here's your $3,500. I must now turn my back on you. So,
right.
Then the next signing we had was former Cardinals linebacker Jordan Hicks. He signed on Tuesday as well.
I did like this. I did like this pickup.
I do too. I remember, when we played Arizona this past year, I think what he had like 6 tackles, a couple tackles for loss.
He's all over the place. Yeah.
Yep. He's 29 years old, played 4 years in Philadelphia and then the next 3 in Arizona. Over his career, he started 89 games, has 11 interceptions, four forced fumbles. Try saying that 3 times fast. 10.5 sacks and 638 tackles. He's really more of a coverage guy than he is, a pass rushing type guy, which is fine because we need coverage help in the middle.
We do. We absolutely do. Yes. I agree.
And here again, he's another, I think, fairly high character guy. Arizona fans were upset that they lost him as well. So, Ted, yeah, I do believe Hicks is better than Vigil. Vigil started out like a house on fire last year, and then
he did.
By mid-season, he just kind of went.
Yeah. Disappeared. towards the end there.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if O'Connell and Staff Donatel there want to force teams to pass on them. I would. We only got one decent corner in house right now in Dantzler.
Right now our starting cornerbacks are Chris Boyd, Cam
Hand.
Dantzler, and Harrison Hand in the nickel. Yeah.
Right. I look for him to hit corner hard in the draft. Or, there's a couple more guys out there that are available. I wouldn't mind picking up. But
yeah. Well, and on that note, I know Patrick Peterson was on his podcast a couple days ago, and he reiterated straight out there that he would love to come back to Minnesota. He loves everything about Minnesota. He said, but the ball is in the Vikings court, whether or not they can, come up with the cap space basically to sign him.
I heard some Philly rumors going on there too about Patrick Peterson.
He said there's a couple other teams that are interested. He said, you'll hear something in the next couple of days, probably. So,
yeah. What happens when you don't have enough money to sign anybody?
Yeah. When you're digging through the couch cushions, trying to find spare change to sign players, it's
not Kirk's fault though.
No, and it's not Kirk's fault. It really isn't. It's the guy that's no longer here that's going around on the Don't Blame Me tour that put us in this freaking mess from his bad personnel decisions ever since 2017, basically. And yes, Rick Spielman.
This is the inevitable end to that. Yes.
Yep. This is what happens when you kick the can down the road continuously year after year on a handful of high dollar contracts. You end up signing players like this next guy that we brought in was guard center Austin Schlottman.
Going to Vegas to play the Schlott.
Yes.
I love me them Schlott.
Schlotzman's isn't that like a sandwich shop? Not Schlotzman's, sorry. Same difference.
Salami.
But he did play for our current offensive line coach, Chris Cooper in Denver. So there's some familiarity there. I honestly couldn't pick him out of an empty room, so I don't know much about the guy. Then also we signed former Rams tight end Johnny Munt.
What the fuck is a Johnny Munt?
Apparently he's a tight end. Munt has been in the league since 2017. Career stats, 10 receptions for 93 yards. So basically he's Chris Herndon. But one thing I did see, and this was last year, it wasn't since O'Connell became coach here, but he had mentioned at the beginning of the year last year that he had envisioned Munt becoming more of a vertical threat and being more involved with the offense. And then he went and got hurt. So he didn't end up playing much last year. So
then they had the emergence of Higbee there too. And
that's true. I mean, Higbee established himself quite well. So,
yes.
I mean, is there a chance that Munt could turn into something? Sure. I guess we'll wait and see, but I think he's still in that more of a blocking thing. So I think probably come down to him and Red Ellison for that second or third tight end spot as far as, who's going to stick around. But speaking of Tyler Conklin and tight ends, Conklin signed a deal with the New York Jets, which is kind of interesting because they paid like $9 million to him, I think. And they had also signed CJ Ozuma.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Conklin he was sad that he was leaving Minnesota. He said he wanted to come back and had talks with the Vikings, but there again, they didn't offer him anything because they didn't have any cap space. So apparently we need to find another couch to start digging for cushions or coins in the cushions. Sorry.
Why can't we just be like baseball and not have a salary cap?
Ugh. I don't think I want to see that in the NFL because that just screws everything up. Having a salary cap is a good idea. And we'll discuss the salary cap here a little bit more in a little bit, but then news out today. First off, safety Harrison Smith agreed to a restructured deal that's going to open up $6 million in cap space. So basically, we can actually sign these guys that we had agreed to terms with. Phillips and Hicks and the Deli.
Take the
and
punches
whatever
as they come. Roll them with the punches, as they like to say.
Yeah. Doc, if Irv doesn't come back strong, this is going to hurt. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it
think
is. Absolutely.
But I think Irv will be fine coming back. I hope he is anyway.
I thought he was going to be fine coming back last year, Rhino.
Well, he wasn't hurt last year. He was the one that was poised to take a big step last year. And then when he got hurt, it ended up being Conklin that took the big step. But
I seen that coming though, too, from a mile away. I knew Conklin was going to, it would have been amazing to see Conklin and Irv together.
yeah,
But granted, look who they would have been playing for anyways. So would we have seen that vision? I don't know.
probably.
But
not. Well, and I mean, we saw it with Conklin 2 years ago, late in the season when Kyle Rudolph got hurt. He started establishing himself at that point.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
there was a glimpse of things to come there. Then this afternoon, the Vikings are meeting with restricted free agent center / guard Ryan Bates from Buffalo. Now the restricted free agent tender on him is pretty low. I think it's $2.5 million or something like that. So wouldn't take a whole lot to beat that. Of course, being he's a restricted free agent, then Buffalo has 5 days to match. And if they do, then we're still out. Our buddy Ted Glover has a nice question here.
Yeah, I seen that.
What if, and hear me out here, what if Irv sucks and Conklin was the guy all along?
Oh, I don't know. Irv has got that physique, though, that is just like, I mean, it's perfect, man.
Ted, if that is actually the case and that happens, I'm going to go beat my head against the wall and drink myself into a stupor until I can't feel anymore.
Just seeing Irv at training camp, he was beast in it.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, he's the real deal when he's healthy, for sure.
But now here again, yeah, can he stay healthy and can we?
Exactly. He hasn't been able to. The dude got hurt doing a fucking touchdown celebration. What is rookie year?
Yeah. And speaking of people staying healthy and everything else, that'll roll us into our next topic here. The big scuttlebutt going back and forth the last couple of days has been the status of one Danielle Hunter.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
This is
all sorts of speculation.
Getting weird here. I'm not quite sure what's going on because the Vikings could have done a simple restructure of his contract without any negotiation whatsoever and had him, good to go for the season, basically. But I know, and I forget which pod I was listening to this afternoon, but they were talking about this. Might have been Zolgat on Purple Daily, that it's, the way it's starting to look here a little bit is that Kwesi does not want to do that kick the can down the road thing. They want to try to get
it's smart
salary cap situation fixed, which if that's what we're doing, I fully appreciate that. And that's what I want us to do so that in a year or two, if a big name free agent comes available that can help the team immediately, we can go get him. We can't just hear back. Oh, hi, Brandon Scherf. Oh, yeah, you want to come play or play close to home? Okay, that's great. Oh, wait, Jacksonville just offered you $19 million a year and you're going down there instead. Okay, well, thanks for talking to us.
Boy, oh, gee.
Yeah.
We almost had Scherf, guys.
We didn't almost.
The guy like G, we lost out in the bidding war.
We didn't almost have Scherf. But Ted Bertrand just said in the comments, the Vikings are actively shopping Danielle Hunter as well to see what they can get for him. Now, I know Drew and I were bouncing back and forth on a post in our Gallerhorn group on Facebook earlier today that if the Wilfs are truly saying that we're going to be ultra competitive this year and compete for playoffs and whatever all else, and we go and sign Cousins to an extension to keep him around, it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever to try to get rid of Danielle Hunter. None what's the only thing I can think of is that Hunter wants a pay bump over what what his current contract is showing, and he's being there negotiating and not wanting to do that kick the can down the road with that simple restructure. He's saying, no, I want to be paid like, the top tier,
defensive lineman. Yeah.
Right. So the contract, the contract he's on is no longer good enough, even though they just signed that back in May. I mean, to me, if this is what's going on in the negotiations, Danielle Hunter needs to fire his agent, because it seems like every time we talk about Danielle Hunter, there's rumblings he's unhappy with the contract, but yet they walk in and they sign this thing. So I don't know if he's got, Joe Bag of Donuts doing his contract negotiations or whatever, but I mean, Danielle Hunter deserves to be paid. I'm not going to argue.
Of course.
I mean, when he's healthy, he's probably a top 5.
But you don't keep
edge rusher.
You don't keep signing new contracts every other year either.
No, but that's what Spielman did, because he did that to keep the few good players that he could find in the draft around. And then when it comes down to, okay, we got a hole to plug over here. Oh, what are we going to do? Oh, let's go talk to player X over here and we'll restructure them and kick their money down the road so we can go sign player Y to a 1 to 2 year deal, just to get by and duct tape and baling wire the roster together. But, and I know there's been a frustration with the way we've been hitting free agency and the start of the league year and everything here. I mean, watching it on Twitter, and I mean,
there's a lot of frustrated fans out there right now, rightfully so.
I'm guilty of being frustrated about some of this too. I mean, personally, if it was me, I'd be going out after JC Treader right now, because putting him on the offensive line would be a veteran presence. Then you could put you could feel fairly confident about putting Wyatt Davis in at right guard.
I'm already confident putting Wyatt Davis in at right guard. I believe Wyatt Davis should have been starting last year from day fucking 1. I don't believe none of this fucking out of shape bullshit at all.
Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about that multiple times over the past several months that Davis should have been in there. I mean, you're not a 2-time consensus All-American in college and come to the pros and are dog shit. I mean, it doesn't typically work that way.
Unless you get caught juicing and then you get off the juice and you can't do nothing. But this dude's a legitimate fucking athlete.
Yeah. And I mean, we saw him in training camp a little bit, and I thought he looked the part at that point in time.
Yeah, let's hope not, Ted. Let's hope not.
Yeah, so anyway, then the only other personnel rumor that we have heard, one Chris Thomason from the Pioneer Press put out yesterday, that there is definitely a chance that the Vikings may bring back Sean Mannion as backup quarterback. And I actually saw people on social media defending this idea. Oh, because he's so smart, and Kirk loves him as he's basically another coach in this. The point of your backup quarterback is not to be your starting quarterback's best buddy and a second coach on the field and all that. Your backup quarterback is supposed to be somebody who, should the starting quarterback go down for any length of time, this guy could step in and win a game or two.
Apparently, we don't know what backup quarterbacks' jobs are in the NFL.
Apparently not. Drew, the Vikings special trade Danielle Hunter and say Tashawn Bauer is just as good. Yeah. I think Bauer, didn't Bauer leave, or did we release him? Or
no, we released Bauer, but he was looking good coming out of the college, and on being a later round pick, he was looking good there during the preseason process. Let him go, went to New England, came back last year, didn't do much, nothing. Well, whatever. But
he's just a guy. I mean,
yeah. Getting back to Sean Mannion and being the backup quarterback, you can find another guy just as fucking smart as Sean Mannion out there with more fucking talent than Sean Mannion.
This bottle of beer has more talent than Sean Mannion.
But he's so goddamn smart.
Well, then hire him as a quarterback's coach or an assistant quarterback's coach. I mean, we got 7,000 assistants already. Make it 7,001 and make Mannion a coach.
Man, you can find a guy. You can't tell me there's not another backup quarterback out there that's available that is just as bright as Sean Mannion. God forbid, you got the fucking genius backup quarterback in the house here.
Right.
Seriously, there's got to be somebody out there who's more talented, just as smart as the guy.
Who's had what, a 4 or 5 year career, or whatever, however many years he's been in the league, 6, 7, I don't even know. He's got one career touchdown pass. And that
looked like
in,
complete horse shit last year when he started that game for us against the Packers.
But all people can say was how bad Kellen Mond looked throwing 3 passes in that game. Kellen Mond, who I'm going to venture to guess that had about as much teaching to how to play NFL quarterback last year as you and I did.
He's the dude that got the shortest end of the stick out of this whole fucking deal when it comes to quarterbacks.
Yeah, I'm not saying that Kellen Mond is going to be the answer. I think he can be a decent backup, at least.
Yeah.
When Sean Mannion is on the podium hosting Lombardi, you'll regret saying that. How's he going to hoist it, Ted? Is Cousins going to drop it and Mannion catches it before it hits the ground, or what? But Doc, exactly. You make your backup your quarterback of the future, allegedly, which, I mean, this year it may or may not be Kellen Mond, I guess. I don't know.
We get the Mannions.
Yeah. Good old Manwich.
Sloppy Joe, sloppy Joe.
The canned crap that eats like a meal, or whatever the old commercial used to be. But anyway, we'll move on from the Mannion talk. I guess hopefully he's not coming back. Hopefully they bid adieu to him like they did with Mackenzie Alexander, who they told this week that he will not be coming back. And also one Dakota Dozier was also told
what? You know what? Fuck this team. I can't be a fan of this team no more. We're getting rid of Dozier.
Hey, no kidding.
We're getting rid of Dozier. Fuck this.
Hey, no kidding. Breaking news. What you got there, Mr. Glover?
Just kidding.
Fill us in, dude. Let us know. Okay. He gives us the clip and then doesn't tell us what the news is. Ian Rappaport is reporting the Raiders are trading for Davante Adams. Holy cow, that is big news.
Wow. Good for Davante, though, really.
Adams to the Raiders.
Division, man.
Whew. Yeah, I mean, the Packers kind of stepped in it with Adams on the doing him to the franchise tag. And then Adams actually came out and said something about
he was pissed,
feeling like he
wants to get paid
done dirty by Aaron Rodgers' contract. And of course, then when
Aaron's already got paid once, big time numbers.
But then when Christian Kirk went and signed his deal with Jacksonville, that kind of upset the apple cart, so to speak, as far as the wide receiver market goes. So that just
Anthony Lizard, now number 1 receiver in Green Bay.
And Marquez Valdez with his donkey Scantling.
Vagina. Marquez Vagina Scantling.
Yeah, Drew, I when I saw, when he came out on social media, whatever, how pissed he was, I didn't think he was coming or going to be playing on that either. Now, I figured somehow or another they would figure out how to, keep him around. But yeah, now if he is franchise tagged, isn't it like, don't they have to give up like 2 number 1 picks or something like that to get him?
That's a lot.
I mean, a receiver the caliber of Davante Adams, 2 number 1 picks might not be that far out of the realm of possibility. And every team in the AFC West is coming loaded for bear this year.
They are. Yes.
Russell Wilson going to Denver. Now, if you move Adams over to the Vegas Raiders, it's that division is going to be extremely tough next year. There's no way around it. I mean, you got Mahomes, you got Wilson, you got Derek Carr, who is probably the weak link out of that, and then you've got Justin Herbert. So
hey, Mr. Bertrand, he's going to need one. He's going to need one going into this year with the Anthony Lizard as his number 1 guy.
Yeah, and Well, maybe now they'll bring Robert Tanyan back because I know he's an unrestricted free agent. He's still out in the market too. So
Who's he going to throw to? Who's Rodgers going to throw to? Can't
That's
throw
a
to
big-
himself.
yeah, the AFC West is the SEC West. I would agree, Ted. That's probably about the best
some big
comparison
guns
you can
out
make
there.
for it. I mean, it's going to be real tough. The only thing that's saving grace out of that group is those teams are going to beat each other up to the point where you might get a Buffalo or somebody like that that's going to sneak in and be able to, if these teams are beating each other and Buffalo has an easier schedule against Miami and the Jets and whatever all else and can secure home field advantage, it might make a difference come January. But
So what? Yeah, like Proto's saying here. What's the deal with this franchise tag now?
I believe it's 2 first-round picks. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know that for sure, but if I remember correctly, that's what the compensation would be for trading for somebody on the franchise tag.
Outside of Minnesota, of course, this has been one blockbuster in the offseason as far as other teams go.
Yeah.
We're just, doing what we do here in Minnesota. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Yeah. And purchase your free agents with change you find in your couch. So, I mean, player-wise, that's the biggest stuff that I guess we've run across, and that's happened to this point anyway. Was kind of hoping we would see more. I still believe that we're going to get a Adam Thielen contract restructure, pay cut, however you want.
I do too. I don't think he gets traded. I could still see Kendricks on the chopping block as well, or being traded somewhere else to free up some space.
It's possible.
We will see.
Now, if Hunter gets traded, then it's more likely Kendrick sticks around.
It's possible.
But I mean, you start looking out on the market right now. What is there for edge rushers? Zadarius Smith supposedly had signed a deal with the Raiders, or not,
right?
The Ravens, sorry. And then at the last minute today, he changed his mind. So he's still available. If Hunter's gone, do you go after Zadarius Smith? I mean, I personally,
I'd be all for it.
And I know there was rumors that we were interested in him before he did that deal with the Ravens. So it's possible that something like that. Now, what I would like to see is get Hunter taken care of and then go get Smith and run the two of those on the outside. That would be a nightmare, but Green Bay could redo an extension that Adams and Raiders agreed to take off the tag and trade him. That's true. They could do that. Because I think you have until, when is it to pull the tag? I don't remember, but there's a little bit of time there.
Oh, Barr's gone, dude, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Barr's an unrestricted free agent. The only way I think he comes back is if nobody else offers him anything. And I mean, O'Connell did mention him by name a couple of times in his introductory press conference. Now, even with that, I'd
be interested in seeing him in the 3-4.
The problem I have with Barr is he can't stay healthy anymore.
Even throughout his career, he couldn't stay healthy very well.
But those knee issues he's been having are looking like they're starting to become chronic.
And honestly, he seems to be a good leader, but he's just not putting out on the field. Honestly, he seems to be a great leader on the field when he's out there. But as far as his play, it's really like you're saying, it's really gone the way of the wind.
Adam Schefter just said it's for 2 2022 prime picks. So I'm guessing the Raiders first and their second or something like that, first or third, maybe.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, Dan.
It's very possible. Now, does he think he can still play? Maybe.
I think if the new coaching staff showed interest in Barr, he might reconsider playing. But I think Dan might have hit it spot on. I believe if we don't re-sign Barr, I would not be surprised to see him retire.
Right. So now we'll move on to a little bit of a different topic, I guess. Kind of talking about, and we sort of touched on this earlier, about the plan that the team has here. We've heard all sorts of things coming around that there was a rumor going around here a day or two ago that Kwesi had a trade deal pretty much agreed to trade Kirk to Cleveland, and it got nixed by somebody higher up in the organization, whether it was Mark Wilf or whether it was his new best buddy, Andrew Miller, the COO, who I'm going to say right now needs to stick to running the business side of things and keep his damn nose out of the personnel decisions.
Yep.
It's all rumor and conjecture if they are actually doing that.
They need to let Kwesi do his job. Is what they
right.
need to do.
You hired the guy to come in here and fix the team. Let him do it the way he wants to do it. Now, I know the Wilfs, of course, we all know that they have some irrational fear of this team being bad. You can't win. You're never going to win a Super Bowl with that. No, they would rather the team just be like it has been the last few years, be decent, be that 8 to 10, 11 win team that sneaks into the playoffs, 5 seed to 7 seed, somewhere in there. And maybe once in a while we'll pop up and we'll win a playoff game or whatever, but they would rather it stay relevant into December so that they can keep the stadium full, so to speak. I just hope they're not Jerry Jones and Kwesi. The thing with Jerry Jones, for as nuts as Jerry Jones is, he's not scared to make a move to try to make the team better. A lot of times they don't work. That's true. But, if the Wilfs are at this point where they would rather just be relevant and not be pushing for Super Bowl titles, Drew, I know there's zero proof of it. I don't know that, I'm just saying what I've heard from several people. I hope that's not the case. I honestly hope that, they are staying out of this and and this is the plan in action that Kwesi has. Because if it was me and I was hired to do this and then start getting overruled by the bosses on every turn, I'd be pissed. Right. I would like to get some clarification as to what is going on. I know we're not going to. We'll probably never get it until maybe years down the road. But getting clarification on the offseason would be fantastic, because right now they have me at a loss for words. Yeah. So, I honestly, I think what's really going on here is, we kind of touched on this again earlier, is that Spielman and Zimmer left this roster and everything so screwed up that, we've got these few top heavy contracts. Like we said, there was 8 guys that were making 46% of the salary cap. You start looking at some of these signings we're doing, he's trying to build back up the middle of the roster, because the way it's been the last 2-3 years, we've got the top guys, and then we've got heavy the guys that we picked up out of the $5 movie bin at Walmart down at the bottom. Right. So, and this team's not going to get fixed in one season. I don't care what the Wilfs say or whoever says about competing in 2022. I think the real goal should be trying to fix what you can in 2022. If you sneak in as a 7 seed, great. Make the team fun to watch again. Especially last year, this team was not fun to watch. No, no. It was excruciating. That whole up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Yeah. Get out to a big lead and then sit on it and watch the lead slowly erode. Now, as we all know, most of that was Mike Zimmer. Yeah, Drew, I know it's March 17th and We need to
With the way
trust
this last season it feels like it's the middle of July right now.
Yeah, but we do need to trust the process. Quasey's been in the job for 3 months, 2 months, whatever it's been. Let's trust the process and see what the plan is coming out of here. We don't know what the plan is, which is where a lot of the,
Right.
The hand wringing and everything by the fans is coming from. We do see this every year as well, when there's a big name free agent available that people think we should get. And then when he doesn't come here, they're all, oh my God, what are we doing? What are we doing? Why? And we just have to kind of take a deep breath, sit back. Like Drew said, it's only March 17th. It's St. Patrick's Day. Have yourself a beer, lad.
You know what, though? Honestly, a few months ago, we said it. Right now, we have a team that can win. And all it needs is the right leadership to get him there. We haven't lost anybody as far as big names go. Pierce, whatever.
Pierce only played 8 games in 2 years anyway.
Exactly. So. Like we preached earlier this year, the talent is there on the team. We haven't lost any of those pieces yet. They haven't dealt any of them away, So let's see what Kevin can do with this team. Let's see what Donatel can do with that defense. Maybe they can get it right. The talent is there. We know it is. It might be a little bit extra seasoned this year, but let's see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically all we can do right now is seeing, we have to see what these guys are going to do before we start throwing them under the bus. We do.
Right.
I mean, we all know we like to get fired up about this stuff. You're guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. A lot of people are guilty of it. But when it boils down to it, we wanted change. We wanted Spielman out. We wanted Zimmer out. We got both of that. We have a new regime. We have a new mindset. We have to let them work it out. They're not going to fix it in 2 weeks.
I'm excited to see what they can do with this offensive line. I'm excited to have a coach that's willing to look at his entire roster and hopefully put the best 53 guys out there. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Doc says, I think Woods may have been a bigger loss than we all think. I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, Woods had a few good games last year, but he had some real bad ones too. He was up 1 week, he was down. He was up, he was down. Honestly, and granted, it was a small sample size with Cameron Bynum.
I liked Bynum when I seen him last year.
I really liked what I saw with Bynum, and I think he's going to be just fine playing.
Especially playing next to Hitman. Yes, exactly. If you're referencing 10-7 as our record next year, which I think you are, Ted, for a first year for a first year head coach, I take it.
Yeah,
I'll take 10.
I have no problem. I'll be happy with 10-7 next year. Like I said, the biggest thing that I see when I look at this roster right now, glaring holes, assuming Danielle Hunter's not gone, is we got to have some help in the secondary at cornerback, because the only player there that I have any confidence in whatsoever.
That's our biggest need, in my opinion, is corner.
And I would like to see them bring in an established center.
Yes. Somebody that's not going to get pushed back into their quarterback every fucking play.
Garrett Bradbury was getting thrown into the third row of the seats on a regular basis.
Yes.
And I know O'Connell mentioned him and said he thinks he's a good player, blah, 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 blah. Bradbury's still on his rookie deal. You keep him around as a, as the backup swing guy, whatever. But I don't. And that's the other thing about signing Kirk to an extension, is that we know what Kirk needs. Kirk needs a clean pocket. Kirk needs protection, everything else. So we need to put effort into that. Now, this Ryan Bates from Buffalo, I don't know a whole lot about him. Is he that guy that can be at least a league average center? I mean, league average center would be a massive step up from Garrett.
See, I don't think he allowed any sacks last year. I think I read that. So
if that's the case, it's not the sexy name like JC Treader or whatever, but if he's a good center and he can come in and do the job and keep from getting forklifted into the quarterback a half a dozen times a game like Bradbury did, I'm all for it.
Right. We haven't had a good center here since John Sullivan was here, honestly.
Yeah, he was probably the last one because we started out with Elfline, then he sucked, so we moved him over to guard, and he sucked over there. And then, brought in Bradbury, who by all
jamming
accounts,
square pegs in the round holes, man, on the offensive line for too fucking long.
Yeah. But like I said, if we can get somebody established at center, then I'm more than comfortable running Wyatt Davis in at right guard, which I think we should do anyway. But if you're running a rookie at center and a rookie at right guard, or basically a rookie at right guard, it's an unknown anyway.
I don't think Wyatt Davis is going to have any issues sliding right in there.
I hope
and
not.
making that his house.
I don't think so either. I think once, the new coaching staff gets a chance to use him a little bit, I think it'll be
I am
fine.
too, Drew. I am too,
Absolutely. Getting Devontae Adams out of this division is,
and conference.
yeah, both. I mean, that is by and large probably the biggest news to come out of the new league year so far, except maybe the Russell Wilson deal.
That was huge.
Yeah. That's really all we've got. If anybody has any questions, we got a few more minutes here to the top of the hour. So
absolutely. Let's see it.
Throw your questions into the comments section there, and we will do our best to give you our honest opinions on them anyway. Dan Henneman, Wyatt Davis could get a shot to start. I think he does get the shot because there'll be competition brought in, and I'm hoping to God it's not Holdy Udo.
Yeah, I think Wyatt Davis is
gravity flying backwards. Bradbury is just as bad. So yeah,
I think Davis is a day one starter this year, honestly. So
he should be. I mean, I thought he should have been starting by mid-season last year, to be honest.
Yeah.
Docs agree but don't like when we beat the better players. Yeah, I mean, it always feels good to beat better players, but if you get rid of those better players out of your division, that's always a plus.
Right. It's out of our hands anyway. So
you
take what you got.
Yeah.
You roll with it.
I couldn't give a crap less who Green Bay has on the team. Our job is to beat them twice a year. It doesn't matter who's playing, whether it's Aaron Rodgers, whether it's Jordan Love, whether it's Devontae Adams, whether it's Marquez, Valdez, Juan Scantling, Ramalama Ding Dong, whatever.
Vagina Scantling.
Better joke category. So the bartender says, or your mom. Ted, with the social media stuff, it's got to be your mom. I mean, there's a group of us that I think is a race to comment on most of these things with the your mom thing. And that's like you guys always say on Vikings Report with Drew and Ted, you're perpetually 12 years old. I'm right there with you.
For Drew, I'm going to say corner. You have to go corner unless we tap into the free agency, which has yet to be seen. You have to get Sauced or Stingley'd up here. You have to get Sauce or Stingley at that number 12 pick. And if you're going to go edge rusher at 12, Nakobe Dean, man.
I'm 100% in on Sauce Gardner. That being said, I don't think Sauce is going to be there at 12 when we pick. If he falls to us, you sprint up to that podium with his name on the card. Like I talked about last week, I like Stingley. I think Stingley, if Stingley can stay healthy, he's going to be a very good player, and I would have no problems taking him out as well. Nick asked you coming to Tucson for the Arizona game with NDSU. I haven't decided yet, Nick. I'd like to, but don't know if I'm going to be able to make it work yet. Reggie asked, who is the top edge rusher you want if we stay at number 12?
Right, Nakobe Dean for me.
I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Jermaine Johnson. He looks the part. He did himself a lot of good at both the Senior Bowl and the Combine. Who else was it I was looking at the other day that I liked when I saw? Boye Mafe from Minnesota. He was another one that
McDuffie, Reggie
could slide in there. Dean is now a linebacker now. Yeah, I love me some Nakobe Dean, but I don't know how he would fit in this system. What's your take?
Staying in Minnesota, I think, Lind. Eric,
yeah, I feel pretty confident that Thielen's going to take a pay cut.
Yeah,
I don't really.
I think Thielen would play for peanuts to be here, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's, Thielen's, of course, big shock. He's the Minnesota guy. The Vikings have always been his team. There's a loyalty, I think, that Thielen has to the team, as long as they don't come with some insulting deal, like we're going to ask you to play for $3 million a year kind of thing. I think that Thielen sticks around at least another year, maybe two. Reggie asked, what if Singley and Sauce are gone?
McDuffie.
Then you look at it. You look at the. You got to go best player available. We can't pigeonhole ourselves and saying we have to take a cornerback.
That's true.
We do need a cornerback. We do need edge rush help. We do need linebackers. We do need interior offensive line. I mean, is Linderbaum from Iowa an option? I don't know. I'm torn on him.
I don't think you go O-line in the first round this year. I really don't. We have people on the roster, I believe, right now that can fill those spots.
I don't know. The offensive line depth is pretty.
You have to go defense with that first pick, in my opinion.
Yeah. Nick Hardno on McDuffie. I mean, he's probably the cornerback 3, I think, for a lot of people. My deal with McDuffie is he's only like 5'8". So you start getting him against some of these tall 6'4", 6'5".
He's almost like your nickel corner there.
Yeah, I think he would end up playing more in the slot than he would being an outside corner. Reggie, Nakobe Dean, or Devin Lloyd out of Utah, he would be another one. Jordan Davis, if we trade back a bit, is a possibility.
Athlete for sure.
Yeah.
As far as a big guy goes,
I wouldn't be opposed to, if some of the stuff turns out that the quarterbacks are going to start falling because Washington got Carson Wentz, Denver got Russell Wilson. Excuse me. We've heard time and time again that Carolina loves them some Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
So, Doc,
I agree, Dan.
Absolutely, Doc. Best player available in the draft. We didn't need Randy Moss, Adrian Peterson. No, we did not. And this will make Mr. Glover's heart skip a beat a little bit. Even like someone like a Chris Olave or somebody like that, if he's sitting there, we're obviously going to be more offensive minded and airing it out. Getting another wide receiver in here is not the dumbest idea in the world either. Personally, like I've mentioned before, I would rather wait second, third round, wherever he ends up going, getting my guy Christian Watson out of NDSU and kind of using him more in that Deebo Samuel, Percy Harvin type role, because watching him as much as I did in college, NDSU used him a lot out of the backfield, jet sweeps, fly patterns, things like that. Moving him around a lot, like what San Francisco did with Deebo, and I think he would fit that role very well in the NFL. And I think he did himself a ton of good at both the Senior Bowl and the Scouting Combine as well. So,
right,
Reggie, we need to nail these first 2 picks. We absolutely do. And I'm all for the whole anti-Rick Spielman thing. If we don't pick on day 3, I don't care if we got good players in the first 2 days.
I can see that happening, Drew, honestly. Yeah,
it's entirely possible. It all depends on how the board falls.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I really don't see us taking a quarterback now, which I'm okay with because, outside of Malik Willis, maybe Desmond Ritter in the second or third round, somewhere like that. Ritter's going to go before that, I think, but that's about where I would take him.
I'm honestly still excited to see what these guys from the 2021 draft do next year, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, we're basically going to
So-
have 2 draft classes this year because as we all know, everybody in the third round didn't play. Davis, Mond, Chas Surratt. Reggie, I think you're right. There's a very good chance that,
Yeah.
because as it sits right now, the only team that might take a quarterback after Carolina right away is maybe the Giants. If they're not sold on Daniel Jones, which I don't think they are. We have too many holes. That's what she said. Yep. It's going to be interesting. I mean, we're going to, once the initial rush of free agency in the new league year's over here, we'll dive more into the draft stuff and prospects and things like that. My new job and stuff this year, I haven't had quite the time to do the deep dives that I normally do. So I've got to get into that a little bit more. Now that, as you can see, I finally got the studio set up so we don't need to have the shower curtain behind me. I've got it off the side there instead, but
It's your dressing room off to the side.
yeah, gotta go back there for wardrobe changes during the show and everything. But anyway, we've been going for about an hour here now.
Yep.
So if anybody has anything quick, we'll hit speak now or forever hold your peace.
That's right.
But if not, we want to thank everybody for joining us tonight on the live show. If you're new to the show, you like what you're seeing, subscribe to the channel, hit that little button down there below. Helps us out a ton. We're trying to build this show up for you guys. We want it to be a show, for the fans, by the fans kind of thing.
Right.
Not the, unicorns and rainbows and waterfalls and all that other happy crap.
Lip service.
Right. But again, thank everybody for watching. We really appreciate all you guys that join us every week in the live chat. Big thank you to Vikings Report with Drew and Ted for having me on the show last night, letting me do the shameless plug for our show tonight. Love interacting with you guys. And one of these days we need to have a full collaborative show between you guys and us. Something that we can work on in the future, but we're still waiting on those steak dinners too, by the way. But with that, again, thank you, everybody. And why don't you take us out of here, Lance?
51, the Ben Lieber episode, eh? Keep your heads up, guys. Like Drew had mentioned earlier in the episode, it's still young in the off season. There's moves still to be made, and just keep your faith in the team and in the new guys that are running it. And let's hope they know what they're doing and get us to where we want to be eventually. So with that being said, we will see you next week at our regular time, Friday, 6 p.m. And we'll catch you then.
All right. Thanks, guys. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. If you're going out tonight, be safe. We want to see you back here next week. So thanks a lot, guys, and we will see you later.